All right, let's talk about Venus retrograde. The pre shadow period just begun, so the energy's already starting to build. Venus officially stations retrograde in Aries on March 1st, retrogrades back into Pisces on March 27th, and finally stations direct on April 13th, with the post shadow period ending on May 16th. This means that we have months of reflection and realignment around money, self worth, and love. So, what does this mean and what can we expect at each stage? Let's break it down. Even before Venus starts moving backwards or goes retrograde, we enter the pre shadow phase, which is happening right now. This is when Venus starts moving down and moves through the degrees it will later revisit during retrograde. So, whatever themes are showing up for you right now in love, finances, your self worth, or even your relationships, take note because these same issues will come up again in March and April, but for deeper reflection. The post shadow period after Venus stations direct is when things start clicking. That's when we take what we learned from retrograde and start moving forward with some clarity. So, Venus is in retrograde in Aries from March 1st to March 27th. This retrograde starts in Aries, and Aries doesn't wait, it's bold and impulsive. But Venus rules love, attraction, and our relationships with other people. But when she's in retrograde in Aries, we're being forced to slow down and rethink how we show up in our relationships and how we handle our finances. Here's some things you can expect with this retrograde in Aries. Expect tension in relationships where power dynamics feel sort of off. Are you standing up for yourself or are you being too self focused? Aries is all about me, but relationships require balance. You may be questioning external validation and how it impacts your self worth. This transit will make you question, do I actually want this or do I just want the attention? If you've been chasing someone or something just out of the thrill of it, this retrograde will call that out. And lastly, you might be getting some visits from some past flames. People from your past may reappear, and not necessarily to rekindle things, but to show you where you still need to grow. Pay attention to why they're coming back. Is it unfinished business or is it a test from the universe to see if you've actually grown from this? Now let's talk about Venus retrograde in Pisces happening from March 27th to April 13th. On March 27th, Venus goes retrograde into Pisces, and here's where things get really deep. Pisces energy is intuitive, emotional, and nostalgic, meaning the second half of this retrograde is all about inner healing, emotional clarity, and confronting illusions in love and money. Here's some things to watch out for. Romanticizing the past. Pisces energy loves to look at things through rose colored glasses. You might start craving something from the past, such as a relationship, an old dream, or even a financial situation, thinking it was better than it actually was. Make sure you watch out for illusions. Next is karmic lessons in love. If there's unresolved patterns in your relationships, like self sacrificing, not having boundaries, or falling for emotionally unavailable people, Pisces retrograde is gonna expose that. And lastly, some emotional reflection. The Aries phase is all about action and confrontation, but the Pisces phase asks, what does my heart actually need? You might feel extra emotional, extra nostalgic, or like you just need to take a step back from relationships altogether to just process everything. Now, let's talk about Venus going direct on April 13th and then the post shadow period, which ends on May 16th. Venus stations direct in Pisces on April 13th, and this is when things start clearing up. But just because Venus stations direct doesn't mean the lessons are over. The post shadow period, which lasts until May 16th, is when we start fully processing everything we've learned and start applying it in our lives. By this point, relationships that aren't naturally aligned may start naturally fading away, while the ones that are meant for you will feel more stable. And you'll also have clarity in money matters, whether that's recognizing a spending habit that needs shifting or realizing what actually makes you feel abundant. This isn't about loss, but it's about alignment with what's truly meant for you. Venus retrograde is helping us clear out what isn't meant for us so we can move forward with real clarity. So let's do a recap on how we navigate this energy. During the Aries phase, pay attention to your independence. Are you leading with confidence or are you just pushing people away? Set boundaries, but don't be reckless. During the Pisces phase, make sure you practice discernment. Are you seeing things clearly or are you lost in fantasy a little bit? Be real with yourself about what actually aligns with you. And lastly, by the time Venus is direct, expect closure. Whether that's ending a cycle, deepening a relationship, or shifting your values, you'll know exactly where you stand. So here's my final thoughts. Venus retrograde isn't here to ruin your love life. It's here to show you the truth about what you really need in love, money, and self-worth. So start paying attention now. What themes are already coming up for you? Drop a comment below if you've already started feeling these shifts in your life right now. And as always, make sure to hit the follow button for more astrological updates. And don't forget to check out my website, the link is in my bio. I offer a ton of personalized birth chart readings.